Let me see it. Put it on, girl. Let me see it.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Accidentally Informed. I'm your girl, Claudia Jordan.
I'm Erica Cobb.
And this is a show where
we can't guarantee that you're going to learn something, but you just might.
That's right. You're getting accidentally informed. Like you didn't sign up to be like, taught a lesson or whatever. We don't want to bore you with
a lesson.
Yeah, no, none of that. We're just going to have a little fun. How you doing today?
I'm really good. I actually was on Instagram Live because I was trying to get people over to our chat over here. So, so I was kind of doing multitasking, but here we are. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to see your face because we did not connect in Houston.
I know. I'm so sorry. We had long days of rehearsal every day, press, media. Then my mother flew out to Houston. Then I had to take care of her. Then she drove me to Dallas. Then I had to take her to the emergency room because my mother's like a little bit of a hypochondriac. Like it's always an ER situation. So anyways.
Oh no, is she okay?
She is. She's getting ready to fly back to Providence right now. But yeah, she's good. But it's a thing my whole life with my mom. So
no,
allergic to everything, like everything bothers her, like everything, cinnamon, pepper, brown sugar, everything. Like I could not imagine living like that. Like I do feel bad for that. Like I do feel bad. But yeah, so I had to, we had some long days. We did a lot of media. Yeah. The shows turned out well, but I hate that I didn't get to see you either. Cause there was one night I did get to go out and you'd have had fun because we were out in these streets.
Well, here's the thing, because I was working on the production company side and we have a client in Houston. And so we had a huge launch party on Thursday night. So I was like, oh, come to the launch party. It was so much fun. It was at Garden Grace. And I haven't brought you to Garden Grace here. Mm-hmm. You would really like it. The one in Houston is great. Shout out to them. It's a elevated steakhouse, really awesome. And all of these people came out, including a lot of my cohort sisters from the Goldman Sachs 1 Million Black Women Black in Business program. So that was amazing to have so many Black women there showing up, showing out for the positive energy campaign. So we left like on a high.
I hate that I missed. That was on Wednesday, wasn't it?
Thursday night.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I think we did a rehearsal Thursday because our first show was Friday. We did a run through till 9:00.
Yeah. And you texted me and I was like, shoot, like we completely missed each other. But yeah, I saw you doing your press tour. So you were all over the place. Were you at Fox 26?
Fox 26, my old stomping grounds, because that's where Fox sold. The station manager is there, Dart. And they were so nice to have me on. I did a couple shows there. I get to sit in on the nightcap that Carolina usually hosts. And there's another host, Cindy, that was awesome, Bubano. And she wants to help my quest to find Mr. Right. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. I like it.
She's kind of on the mission right now. Like she's on the job. And so anyways, I'm just putting the energy out there.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
We just missed each other because I also had a little conversation with Dart and I was on chatting with Chelsea.
Oh my God. You were there. We really missed each other. We were like two ships passing in the night.
I know. Well, I'm happy to be home. I know you're happy to be home because you're on tour and you're not home very often. So
no. And then next up, I got to go to an LA, Oakland, Detroit, Columbus, Ohio run. So that's the next one.
For
the play, the games women play. So it's going well. It's been fun. Like I got to get a little more comfortable. Oh, that's an old fly. I got to give you the new fly because April Jones is in it. I just want to make sure people know that.
Okay.
But Jill Marie Jones, Demetria, Brian, Carl Payne, Chico Bean, Flex Alexander, Naomi Lovett, and Angela Young. Great cast. Thank you to Jacarius for the opportunity. It's been fun. It's definitely spreading my wings a little bit. So, and you get the instant gratification if you're doing well or if you suck, you'll know right away.
I'm so sad I missed it. I'm going to have to meet you in another city so I can see it because I really do want to see it.
We will be in Ohio. I'm trying to think like what's closest to you. Probably Chicago, Ohio.
I could do, let me try to work out Chicago because that's my hometown.
I'm also doing a birthday trip to Aruba this year, a very small group. So I'm going to give you the information if you want to come join us.
In April,
like around the 16th, 17th to like the 21st. Yeah. Come get brown with us in bronze and lay out and have a little fun.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
It's usually a bigger group, but it's gonna be a smaller group, but a good small quality group of girls. Like it'll probably be like 5 of us. It'll be fun.
I'm working out as we speak. I'm like, let me get in shape. Y'all baddies are ridiculous. Okay.
Girl, look at you. Look at you.
Gosh. Oh my gosh.
You're the reason I draw on eyebrows and clip in hair. I'm like, I gotta step on my game to be in this box next to this lady. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm glad we're back. This has been so amazing. Just for our viewers, make sure that you like, subscribe, tell a friend, because we are building this and I am just so excited about what's to come for the future.
The people, like, we haven't reached out to a lot of people that know about us, but the people that do know about us really like the show.
Yeah.
So it's just at this point, marketing and just getting us out there, PRs.
Well, here's the thing too, other than the US and Canada, where would you think our biggest listening countries would be?
Nigeria.
Close.
Germany.
You're on the same continent.
Oh, really?
Yes.
An African country? I don't know. Kenya?
South Africa.
South Africa? What's up, South Africa?
Netherlands.
Okay.
Yeah. Australia.
I've always wanted to go there.
Yeah. So if y'all are in any of those, of course, we love y'all, US, Canada. Oh, the UK is really big.
What's up?
So yeah, if you're watching or listening from any of those places, say hi to us. We would love to know like how you found us, all that goodness, because we're happy you're here.
So, and to the people, our fans in South Africa, can you please take Elon back? We don't want him. Please take him back. That's all.
Oh my God.
Speaking of not wanting things, let's get into this Jamal Woolard. He is getting some heat for dating and race comments. There's a clip that's gone viral. I actually did the show a little while ago called The Culture Club. And the clips are just coming out now. They're being released now. There was a clip from the show. It's going viral. And he said some things about why he doesn't date black women with his black ass. Let's take a look at the clip.
You get mad at me for dating outside my race. But I was dating outside of my race because they was doing things better than my race. I'm gonna keep it 100. My Spanish, better. Well, not better, because I know where she getting ready to go. I was dating Puerto Rican, I was dating Dominican, I was dating African, I was dating all type of other races besides American black, right? They were doing way more of what we expect we want our woman to do more than our American. Our American got real comfortable.
So I saw this clip and I immediately was like, oh, Claudia, what's going on? Tell me everything about this, because of course, anytime we have conversations like this in the culture, adjacent to the culture, it becomes a real lightning rod issue. So how did this conversation even come to be?
Well, that was one of the topics that the show put together. And I was actually surprised that he would have that kind of answer. But I will say this. I'm so sick of black men having to dump on black women what we ain't doing enough of. Just say like Puerto Ricans, just say like Dominicans, just say you like it's easier, you don't have to try as hard. Just say you like to date from third world countries, with the exception, I know Puerto Rico is not a third world country, it's part of the United States, but just say you like to date women in poverty that are more desperate and more willing to do more for you, and the bar is much lower. Don't bring us into this conversation. And I wanted to say more of that on the show, but I was in a professional capacity. I was the host, and it was our conversation was between our guests. I said my things here, and they're like, "Well, where are you looking?" I just get tired of black women don't do enough for me, or they don't treat me like a king. He basically said that he loved being treated like a king for making and putting in very minimal effort, and I think that is the problem right there. A real king doesn't mind behaving like a king. And then you're going to deserve to be treated like one. I don't think you're just showing up and having a penis and being a black man. Like that's just enough to just whatever you like. Like it ain't about that. Like I get irritated. Matter of fact, if I had a man that just bent over backwards, did everything for me and I did nothing, I would think he was a simp. I would think there should be some kind of I always mess this word up.
Reciprocity. It's all good.
I can't say that in Western Union. I struggle. Western Union. All right, reciprocity. Okay. Like, I feel like when you say stuff like that, and Jamal, you may not be this, but it gives lazy. It gives lazy and it gives weak. It gives not wanting any pushback, not wanting to step up. It gives like, I don't really want to do much for you. It's all about me. And it gives one-sided. Because a man that I feel like is deserving, you're going to get all those things that they try to say Black women don't give. That is fake news, y'all. Because Black women, to me, are the most nurturing creatures on this planet. And I say creatures in a nice way. I don't say it in a bad way, like how he would probably say it.
Right.
You know, I just feel like we just get the brunt. Like, stop to just say you like Spanish girls. Or just say, I can't really get the bad Black girls I want. So I just get whoever I get because, and they don't really ask so much because they want a visa or they want some food.
Listen, I understand why people were so up in arms about this. And as you mentioned, this was from a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. And since, just of note, he is with a Black woman now, apparently.
Yes, congratulations to him.
Yeah. But here's the thing, because I want to be very transparent, and there's no shame in, yes, beautiful.
She is.
Obviously, I am in a interracial marriage, and that's not something that I apologize for. And it has nothing to do with the way that I feel about Black men. People can think whatever they want to think, but ultimately I've only made decisions about who I'm going to be with based on how they treat me.
Right.
What type of partner they are. Are they investing in us, in our relationship? Do I see a future of elevation? And Spirit spoke to that too. If you're not in a growing relationship, and Spirit was on the show, she was in that clip that we just saw, and she's a therapist. I might know her personally.
You said what?
I said she's a therapist, and I may know her personally.
Oh, Spirit, yes.
Spirit is amazing.
Yes.
But I think this conversation could be taken in any place and put down in the same fashion, because ultimately what we're talking about are men who want to be the beneficiary of an aesthetically pleasing or elevated, I should say, woman, because we're talking about, the hair, the nails, the makeup, all of that. That's aesthetically elevated. It doesn't mean that any other woman isn't beautiful. It's just those are the things that they're putting forward. And some men want to be the beneficiary of an aesthetically elevated woman, but they don't want to have to be the benefactor. And the issue with that isn't that it's a gold digging or it's a money or, I give you this, you give me that type thing. It's the fact that you met her aesthetically elevated. And there's been some acknowledgement that she was actually high maintenance because she was maintaining herself highly. And now that you're together, you don't want that to be a part of the equation, but ultimately that's what drew you, or a part of the thing that drew you in. So that's what I get upset about. It's like, you knew I was over here doing my thing from jump. And now you want to come in and like play me or criticize me because of the decisions I made for myself and the way that I choose to maintain myself. So you can't have it both ways. And that's my issue with that. And that goes across the board for men or women of any race.
What do you think about him saying that? Basically, he was saying like Latino women, Indian women, or he couldn't even remember the country of the women that he was talking about. Do things better than Black women. And he caught himself, but he did say that. And I have to go with his first mind. They what I got from it is he's saying that they are raised more. Do you think there's any truth behind the argument that certain cultures are raised to cater more to their men than American? I wouldn't even say, I don't even think they should put Black women in a box by themselves. I will say there maybe with American women, because we've had, up until recently, we had a lot of rights. We can, we financially, we're in a good place, better than a lot of other lesser developed countries. What do you think about that? Like, he's basically saying in different cultures, they tend to cater to their men more just because they were raised that way.
I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I might get some pushback, but here we go. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, culturally, women are raised differently across different cultures, but I don't think that is solely about race. There is a culture that people don't talk about, and it's the raised pretty girl culture. That's when your parents and your community have told you that your sole currency in life is the fact that you are an aesthetically pleasing girl who will be an aesthetically pleasing, and that means to the male gaze, woman. So when you're told that your only currency is the way that you look and your beauty, then you are raised in a culture that means that you need to always be about the male gaze. You have to do everything in your power because your number one like gift to the world is to be up under a man, and a man of a certain ranking or stature or value. Because the more pretty you are in the pretty girl culture, and a lot of parents do this to their daughters before they ever have a chance. You're a beautiful girl. You need to find a man who's going to take care of you and your family. That's your entire job. And it's something a lot of people don't talk about, but I have seen it.
Do you think women get more masculine or less feminine to men, right? The more successful they are and the more access they have. Like, do you think the less they have, the more they're like I made the joke about whatever you like, and they're more like catering and nurturing because that's all they have. Like, you're their lifeline to eat, for shelter. But when you have more stuff, you can be a little bit more. Do you think that makes a woman more masculine when she's more successful?
I don't think it makes a woman more masculine. I think that sometimes it kicks in some men's feminine energy, and we are made of both, and maybe not even a feminine energy. Maybe it's a more subservient energy. You're acknowledging that there's someone in the household who can potentially provide more or get you to another level than you can. And that's when you're ignoring the standard gender roles. And I do not subscribe to, everyone has to subscribe to standard gender roles, like the man must make more and the woman must do that. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is, like, a lot of men struggle with the idea that they don't want to be competitive with a woman. And so if you have, and you see this all the time, I think Housewives is a really great example of why a lot of people struggle with the shift. You get, women on there who may be married to someone who has, by all accounts, has been successful, but then her level of success climbs, and then there's a shift in the relationship. And sometimes the men struggle with that. And so if you're someone who's like, I don't want to fight for head of household as a man, so I want my woman to come in and be this and only this with no chance of evolution because that forces me to evolve, then there's a problem.
And I know that my initial gut reaction was like, wait. You want a girl that ain't doing shit? And what about you? You're not acting like king. The more I sit here, the more I'm thinking more about it. Listen, there are all kinds of women in the world, just like there's all kinds of men. There are women that will be perfectly fine with just serving you. Those usually are women that probably are not so career goal oriented. You know what I mean? Like, they're kind of cool. Like, they were raised in the vein that we're talking, where be a mother, be a wife, and that's it. Like, there's not a lot of lofty goals as far as like being a career woman, because being a career woman, you're going to probably have a little bit more to say. And that doesn't mean you're masculine, but maybe you're a little bit like, hold up. Like, I do want to, take care of my man, but I also have other things to do. Like, it's not my entire being. There are people who from out the womb, they are raised, like you said, to cater to their man. So I think in a short clip, without being able to see the whole conversation, it does come off very arrogant and it comes off very obnoxious. But when you expand, you kind of take like a 30,000 foot look at this and view at this, and you look down and you think, well, there are people that are okay with that. And guess what? Don't be the same person that gets that subservient woman that's not doing anything, who also gets bored in 3 years when they're like, well, what you got going on for yourself? Well, that's it. They were there for you. So be careful what you ask for. But hey, Anthony Buchanan says, is Jamal a covert narcissist? I'm so curious. And Magical said he wants women to be subservient to them. That's most certainly is a culture difference. And Ari Girl says that part, Claudia, he gives bare minimum and wants the whole feast. No, sir.
Again,
I think
what Magical said was, I agree that there are certain cultures that it's more prevalent than other cultures. But I think that culture exists of raising women to be subservient in every culture, because I have seen it in every culture. Like, I am the let me get you out girl. That's my role as a friend. Like, you deserve so much more than that. Do you let me, girl? Like, you are so much more. You do not.
Do you think men are happiest when they have a woman that they deem is lower on the status bar than they are? Like, for the majority, I know that's a very general thing to say, right?
Yeah.
But like when they feel like they are like leader, they're making more money than you, or they're a bigger deal than you, or higher on the totem pole. Do you think most men fit in that, like, in that box where that's where they, if they were being honest, they'd be most happiest? Or do you think they really are men that really want to? I always meet men that say they want to be in a power couple until it happens, then they don't like it.
Yeah, I think it's a case by case basis. You know, I really, because I see it as like, my husband is a successful man, but he also has always helped me in terms of like not hindering what I was doing when I climbed, you know, and I always said to him, like, this is something where I'm going to do this and I'm going to make as much as you make. That was my goal. And then there was a certain year that actually happened, and I was super excited about it, but not as excited as he was.
Wow. Wow. You have a confident man. You have a secure man.
It was like, you know, it was a competition in my head, but it wasn't a competition for him. I was seeing it as a goal, because also there's a power dynamic to other people there. You know, I'm in a situation where my husband makes more money than me. And now all of a sudden, and also it's an interracial couple. So people have all of these perceptions about what that means and how I'm a player in it, or he's a player in it, and what's happening behind closed doors, like all of those things. So in my mind, a part of it was like, I could potentially meet you. I could do this. And that was my goal in my mind. And for a year, I was able to make that happen. But it's not a thing for us, because ultimately, when one of us wins, the house wins.
I would think so. Do you think that, okay, well, people were really upset though with this, with Jamal. So
I know. And isn't that's so crazy how the internet works, because this is an interview from what, 2 years ago, you said?
Yeah, it was a while ago, but it wasn't really released until recently. So
right, but then you're like living a whole different life, and then
now you have a Black woman. I wonder what she thinks now. When she's like,
oh my gosh, because I'm sure you get it all the time, but I've gotten it a few times where I'm like, why are people yelling at me? And it's like something that I said like 4 years ago, and I'm like, where did this even come from? I'm like, I don't even know what's happening.
Speaking of not knowing what's happening, we got a whole earful about stuff that we probably shouldn't know what's happening behind the scenes, and that is with the Breakfast Club. There's a lot of drama happening with Jess Hilarious and Lauren LaRosa. Before we get into it, let's hear what happened on today's show between Jess and Lauren. They did get to speak. Let's take a listen.
I'm not saying Envy don't got no opinion, but he don't jump in every single time there's dead air. You know what I'm saying? When you over talk. And it's like the only time you can quiet down is somebody be like, shut up or hush.
My mom don't even tell me shut up, Jess. I'm a grown-ass woman.
And I understand. You could have said that on air right then and there. Or right after when you saying you put me in the office. You never put me nowhere to tell me that.
Because the way that I do things when it comes to my job and my career, that's not what we on. And I told you from the jump, I was never going to give that to you.
What do you think about that, Erica? Like, what do you think about that? That's a spicy conversation to have to still work with you after that.
Yeah. First I was like, I watched Jess's live, a clip of her live, and she brought your name up. So immediately I was like, okay, what's going on? I'm constantly.
Why am I always in some shit like 6 degrees away? Like, I'm over here in Dallas drinking my ginger ale. I ain't bothering nobody.
Well, Jess mentioned that you and her, she had auditioned together, and that it was very clear during that audition that there was only room for one, that it was never meant to be a 4-person show. So what are your what's your recollection of that?
I mean, I was told that too, but I have to keep it a buck with this. I remember one time when I was called in to do like 2 or 3 days, she actually came in on one of my days and like kind of crashed with us. And, you know, she had a comedy show and she wanted to like promote it. And she did give me a heads up on one of the times. She's like, hey, can I come in when you're, and I was like, yeah, but we were all kind of trying to all get the job. So I was like, but I'm not going to be a hater. I'm like, yeah, come through. And I said, but let me make a deal with you. I say yes to you coming through on one of my days. Let me come in on one of your days too. I said, maybe this could be a show with 4 people. And it was never, you know, it was never a thing, like for sure that there was 4 people. That not when I was there. We always knew that there was 1, but we hoped there could be 2 spots. Because I do feel like, listen, I got to keep it a buck about this story. And people are going to be mad about this. If I'm being honest, if you have the right person for the job across the board, you'd only need 1 person to do it, not 2. I do think that they both are very, very strong in the strengths that they have. But I do think you need what both of them bring to the table to have one good host. Meaning you have to have someone that has some kind of curiosity about as far as the journalism part of the job, the being curious, the asking questions. In an election year, you've got to give a damn about politics. You just have to. Breakfast Club is just too big of a platform to have someone on there that's checked out when you have political conversations. And I love Jess, but I just have to keep it a buck. She would keep it a buck about me, and she's posted stuff about me before. We got to keep it a buck about and hold our colleagues, you know, to the standard. But she's fantastic at going viral. She's fantastic at funny and being opinionated. She's young. She's a breath of fresh air. She's fun. Then on the other side, you have Lauren, who is not as big of a personality, but she's definitely getting, you know, in her bag now, who's definitely on the more journalism, you know, research part of the game. So I think you have to have someone in that seat that has the depth to go in and get and be curious about the facts, because you have a huge responsibility when you're on a platform like that where they don't have a lot of platforms like this for Black people. The weight of the world is on your shoulders, especially in an election year. That's why I'm just going to go and say this. Breakfast Club, you needed to have some people on there during this, even if you just had them guest hosts here and there. Y'all kind of got run amok in some of these interviews with some of these political figures. These Republicans were going in there, they were having their way with y'all. And I do think, like, you had Teslin Figueroa that's there sometimes, and she gets it, and she's like very strong as far as that. You have to have someone that has those things. When these people come in there, they don't try to walk all over any of the hosts. And y'all do need to be a united front against whoever comes up in there and tries to get greasy with y'all. Y'all, that's what builds camaraderie. So I do think that because now they're going to have to make it work as a 4-person show. They probably didn't plan on that in the beginning, but now that it's that, y'all going to have to work it out. I do feel like Jess was getting a little gaslit today. I do. Yesterday I was like, damn, Jess is wrong. She crashing out on live. Like, it's about to be the rap, because radio is very like particular. They don't like this kind of shit, right?
Yeah, I know.
And Charlamagne really went to bat for Jess. That's his girl. Like, he was pushing for her from the beginning. He loves her. He loves her. They're good friends. They have good chemistry. He loves her. So it was laid out it was hers for the taking. So when you crash out like that, it kind of makes it awkward for everybody else there. Like the people that went to bat for you and really like, nah, this is the person. This is the person. But in her defense, they were kind of gaslighting her today, saying, no, you can't pay attention to the internet. It ain't about the internet. It wasn't all about the internet. And I hate when people try to play in your face like you're just tripping out the comments. I'm sorry. If anyone was in her position, they would feel that way. I feel that they both have proper points. Jess got the job. I don't know when she got pregnant, but it was very early on. And if she would have disclosed that, she probably wouldn't have gotten the job, because they'd say, listen, we need someone that could be full-time right away. So that's where they're like, So when you had to take your time off, you run the risk of someone coming in there and like laying it down and like really being engaging. And then if you're gone from radio more than a couple of weeks, people get used to someone else and it's hard to go back. Radio is like, it's, you know how radio is. It's you like whoever you hearing the most of.
Yeah. And I think, you know, this is far more complicated than what the streets are talking about, like, to your point, because first of all, you have a woman who was pregnant and went on maternity leave and gave her opinion or her recommendation for who should fill her seat when she was out. Now that's already a super sensitive time because as most moms will tell you, working moms, there's a lot going on at that time. I'm pregnant. I obviously have to, have this baby and take care of this child. And I'm thinking about my family, but I'm also thinking if I'm going to have a seat or a desk when I get back. And so that's a complicated matter. And then you have companies who are either going to be super supportive, but let's just be honest, in our country, it's not the culture for companies to necessarily be super supportive when a woman has to take maternity leave. So when you're coming back and you have basically done this as a sis, I believe in you type thing, it's not Lauren's fault that she's so skilled and so brilliant at what she does. And that's a different, it's a different set of skills than what Jess has. However, I can see it being a complicated emotion that I had your back to help you get in this position. And now I'm feeling some type of way, whether it's Lauren's fault or not. And I don't think, quite frankly, it's anyone's fault. To the point that you were making about her, quote unquote, crashing out on social media, I was a little nervous for the situation because I was thinking, don't give them, in Jess's case, any ammunition to do anything in retaliation against you. And the thing about situations like that, because I can tell you, I had an incident when I was doing mornings in Chicago. I was doing morning radio and I ended up talking to the press. At that time, it was the newspaper. And I didn't get a direct retaliation. I got a very long run eventual retaliation.
Oh yeah.
And it's not, and that's the difference between overt and covert tactics. I would rather tactics be very overt. I want them to be in my face. I want to know what's happening right now. But that covert, long simmering run, it's brutal. So that was my first thought when I saw Jess on social media talking about it. And then, of course, she mentioned, the situation with you, which I found interesting. But while I have you on the hot seat, because I feel like this is like a 60 minutes here. You on the hot seat, Claudia. So I have to bring something up.
Okay.
Because your favorite frenemy, Funky Dineva, said the reason why you, and I'm paraphrasing, he said that you were great, but the reason why you didn't get the job was because you were too old. So I just wanted to see if you had any comments about that.
Well, he's 10 years younger than me. And he wasn't on there. Okay. I will say this. No, if he did say that I was great, I definitely will always appreciate a compliment. As far as being too old, that's a lazy read or a lazy excuse. If I was too old, I wouldn't have been asked to be on there at least 10 times. They asked me to come on there several times, and there were more times than I actually did. There were times I couldn't go that they asked me to come on there that I couldn't go. And I'm in the same age range as Charlemagne and Envy. And actually, there were people that were older than me that was on the show as well. Nene Leakes, Lala was on there. Let me see who else was on there. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of other people. Roxy, we're all in the same age group, so it wasn't really that. The Breakfast Club audience is an older audience. The Breakfast Club audience is 40s, early 50s. Like that's who their main listeners are. So younger people, the 20s and 30s, they're getting their news, their media from TikTok and Twitch and all that kind of stuff and streaming. So I think I'm right in the pocket. And also the feedback was really, really good. But I do understand a lot of media entities, they always think that they need to go younger, but there was a lot of there's pushback to that sometimes. People like what they like, but that show was definitely an older show. But I may be 51, but I read 35.
And she does. Okay, my last question, because
But thank you for saying I was good, because I was.
Yes, you were.
But they brought me back a lot of times. They kept asking me back.
Honestly, I really did think that you had the job. So I was in
the running, and I was very happy that even to just try out, very flattered. Like even a tryout meant a lot to me. It felt really good. It made me like radio again.
I know radio is such a mistress. Like I basically built, because I started my career in radio and I love being on radio. Like I love the idea that you can emote and make people feel something with just the sound of your voice. Like, it's such a beautiful median, and what's happened, how much it's been divested over the past, 15 years is just, it's really unfortunate. So when you have gems like the Breakfast Club, you really want to see those succeed and thrive, because it's like, I mean, it's a unicorn at this point.
It is, and I do think, I hope the ladies work it out. Jess is my girl. We worked together on a couple shows. We did couples retreat together, and I definitely was very protective of her. Lauren, I respect the journalist. I love a girl that has a journalism background. I think at this point, they both have what the other one's lacking. They both do. So I think now I think it's good to switch up and have a different balance of power, and then have two women on the show. Like Jess brings the funny and the young and the hip and all that kind of stuff, and the shit talking and the moments, and Lauren brings the more the research and well-studied, well-read person that is good with, she's gonna know the backstory on things, and those together form a really good section of the show. Like, you need that. Angela Yee held that spot down on her own, and she was able to be engaging, be funny, but she's she's not there anymore. But I think now that you've had the show with just Jess there, you've had the show with just Lauren there, when one or the other is missing, you're like, okay, but it's lacking the funny. Then when Jess there, you're like, oh, it's lacking the research. So now you kind of have to make a way. So ladies are going to have to get it together. And I did see, like, there was definitely shade being thrown. Like, the fact that Jess told Lauren to shut up. I wish someone would tell me to shut up on a show. I would have crashed out. And then for Lauren to tell her, and she kind of read Jess a little bit today when she said, well, I'm the producer and you're my talent and you're new. Oh my God. That would have made me be like, wait, what? Like, now, unless they get it together, they're going to be a bunch of like microaggressions, I think. But I don't like that the fellas sat back and
that is
Envy and Charlemagne. Y'all both gaslit that girl. Y'all my boys. You're my favorite down low couple. But I'm just saying, no, I'm just kidding. It's a little joke we have with them. I always say Charlemagne's bottom heavy, and Emmy loves to look at it. But anyways, but they kind of, I don't like how it became you're tripping over the internet, kind of discounting Jess's feelings, because she does have a valid point. If I took a leave of absence because I was pregnant, even though I got pregnant right before I got my contract, whatever, they still signed her, okay? And when I come back, my feeling is still there. I'd be like, okay, what's happening? So she had every right to feel that way.
Yeah.
Right. And then they played in her face like, wait, no, not really. So she has a legitimate reason. And I don't think she was able to properly express herself. So she was getting frustrated today. And I could see her getting emotional because it felt like 3-on-1.
Well, and it's heavy. But I always want to say, because when it comes to just life in general, I'm kind of like a go along to get along until you do something to really piss me off type person. I really don't, I'm not thinking about like, how do I get this or do this and throw somebody under the bus? Like, that's not the way that I think. But if you bring attention onto yourself in a negative way that is aimed at me, now we have a problem. But that's a problem between me and you. When someone else benefits from us having a problem, I'm always thinking, what is the true genesis of this problem? What do other people who are, peripheral to this problem have to gain by us taking each other out? Because my thing is always this. People are lazy AF. They do not want to put in extra work if they do not have to. But the easiest way to take someone down is to cut them at their knees. So now they can only perform at the level in which you currently reside. So who is cutting whom down at the knees? That's what it looked like to me. Because when Jess made the comment that Charlemagne had sent her a text saying, play it up, tell her to, shut up on air or, play it out on air, to whom's benefit?
Yeah, you can't do that and then go, oh, you're just worried too much about the comments on social media. No, Charlemagne, you were adding fuel to the fire, gas to the flame, and then saying, like, behind the scenes, play it up, and then being like, oh no, y'all are just tripping on the internet. No. I gotta stick up for the ladies on this one.
Yes.
Hell no. The fellas are sitting back looking like, what do you mean? Because you had to be in those meetings where they discuss having Lauren there when Jess got back. And you had to know how your friend was going to feel coming back into an environment where there's another person in like there. Like I would feel weird if I'm on a 3-person show and then I come back from my break and then it's a 4-person show with no conversation. I would like that to have been told me and not find out in real time. So, hey, we'll keep y'all updated with whatever updates we get, but we just want to speak briefly on that.
I just have one final question in my journalistic integrity.
Oh, yes.
Since we brought up that Funky Dineva made that comment, is there a chance for a reunion for the two of you?
I have no problem with Funky. Like, well, he seemed to have more of a problem with me. Like, when he left the show, it was like all love. And I think Al had a conversation with him, got in his head and said some shit and told him that wasn't true. And I tried to tell him there was some shadiness, things happened. And then all of a sudden it was, I'm not there because of Claudia Jordan. I'm like, I thought we was like, because we have text messages where we said, hopefully we can work together again. I could talk to him and sit down with him. Al Reynolds, never. I would never deal with Al Reynolds ever again. I would never work with him again. He's just not to be trusted in my book. And it was a little bit different with us because I thought it was different. Funky, we could definitely have a conversation and talk. I don't know if we'd ever work together. We could talk.
I would love to see that. I love you two together. I really do. I think a full circle conversation is really when I was saying when there's two people, but there's someone in the peripheral gassing the situation, to whose benefit is it really? And I think that what you're describing is exactly that. So
we definitely had someone that was being messy and stirring the pot and having different conversations in front of one person and the other. And we also had one of our producers that was being like that with the executive producer on that show. Like, let me just give you all the tea. She was being extremely messy. Her and Al were having side conversations all the time and making shit worse. And when I complained, I wasn't even complaining. I complained about those two in an inappropriate, like the conversations were just like, it was too much puppeteering and too much. I'm like, this doesn't benefit the show, may benefit you. And I do feel like the show could have actually gone on for 5-10 more years. Honestly, when it was good, it was great. But let me just take this back. When I said I could never, ever talk to Al on a show, I could work with them because I'm a professional. I actually have worked with people that I can't fucking stand before, and I can do it. But I would just go in knowing, like, I think with me, I think that friendship or even being we're cool actually meant something. And I've learned from that whole entire experience that you can be in one-way friendships where you really be wanting people to, like, get money and get work and stuff. And they may put on an appearance on television, how much they appreciate you, but behind your back, they're like actively working against you. And I would just go in there with more awareness and treat it like a job. There will be no conversations afterwards when I can eat drinks, but that's also what made the show beautiful at times. Like, I wish we could just have a time machine to when things were before the hurtful things were said and done, and the sneakiness and all that other shit and the scheming and all that. 2 against 1, it felt like, because there was a time when it was really beautiful and fun, and we actually really enjoyed turning on our computers and like, okay, what fuck are we gonna get into today? And I'm really being out away from it now. So many people reach out to me and say they miss it, as well as Cocktails with Queens. They really miss. They miss a place where they can do talk politics, pop culture, shady friendship conversations, and they loved when we would hang out and we would give a recap. And I am a sentimental person. I don't respect Al at all. I as a man, as an employee, as a worker, as a host, I don't. But if there was a deal that came across my table that was like whatever, and for the people, I would do it for the people. But I would go in knowing, let me just say like that, I would go in knowing that they're not my friends, or he's definitely not my friend. And I cannot take things personally, because I tend to take things personally, because I care. And I remember the day I called them, and I was like, I got us 1 day a week. And I remember calling, and they were like, oh, okay. And I remember when I called them, I said, I got us 2 days a week. So I paid doubles. And I remember Funky saying, wow, that's a lifestyle change. Like that's some cute money. And then when I went to 3 days a week, and I remember 5 days a week, and I remember like every milestone feeling like these were my family, like I got some good news, you guys. I would call with James the Boast, and I'd say, James, act like the show's about to get canceled, and then we'll tell him. And then it was so fun, but hey, unfortunately, it went the way it went. But I appreciate anytime someone said anything positive. So if Funky did say that about me, thank you very much about being good at it. I think I was, and I agree with you. When you're right, I'm with you when you're right, Funky. But yeah, it's unfortunate that we couldn't hold it together for our fans, because our fans really do miss that show. Yeah. But you catch me, I've been on Cobb's podcast lately with him and Dustin on Monday, so that's been pretty fun.
Yeah, is this an every Monday thing?
No, they just asked me 3 times so far, but if they asked me to go back again, I would definitely say yes. And I bring up our podcast on every episode, and we all gonna hang out. So I would love to because it feels like a little bit like a tea. They both guest hosted on the show. Excuse me. It feels like a TGIF feeling.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It really feels like that. Like
it's great.
Yeah. So who knows? Hey, I am sorry to the listeners and the fans that we couldn't keep it together. I really am. I really hate that. And the way it ended when, Funky left and said kind things about how he loved Al and I, that's how I choose to remember it, because all the stuff that came after was all from bullshit and someone doing this.
Yeah.
And fucking it up. Like remember how it really ended.
Yeah.
Not how the remix. Okay. We got to move on. I know we spent a lot of time on this. Moving on. Okay. Marine Corps shaving policy targeting Black men. Oh, the Trump administration is like herpes, the gift that just keeps on giving and giving you a rash. All right. The Marine Corps now says troops with a genetic skin condition, mainly affecting the Black men after they shave, can be discharged if the issue persists. Now, under the new rule, Marines diagnosed with PFB have 90 days to be reevaluated. Now, if they don't improve after a 4-phase treatment plan and need a shaving waiver for over a year, they can be discharged. Beards are banned in the Corps. What are your thoughts on this new policy that clearly targets Black men? It ain't like, keep the same energy. Black men get hair bumps, razor bumps, okay? So do Black women sometimes, but Black men get them. What if they had a rule? What if when Barack Obama was president, he said, all right, any people in the military that have cowlicks, which are mostly a white boy thing, they got 90 days to get it together and get the cowlick down, or they get kicked out. Get the fuck out of here with this. What do you think about this, Erica?
It makes absolutely no sense to me, but it makes all the sense in the world as to what this is really about. This is about the catalyst to a white militia. And the thing about it too is that this condition can affect anyone who shaves or has, a curly or coily hair, because obviously when the hair grows, it can get stuck underneath the skin and the pore, and now it creates this condition. So are they also going to check for women? Because that seems to open the door the same way that opening the door for when people were like, yeah, people's birth certificate, their gender should be on their birth certificate what they were born as, and you can't change it, and then you can't change your name on your birth certificate. Well, lo and behold, it didn't just affect the transgender population, it also affects women who get married and change their last name. So always look at how things are being set up. If you can do this, then the next move is going to be, well, now we have to check women in their nether regions, because they might also suffer from the same condition because they choose to shave. And that is an effect that people can get from shaving.
That's why I'm team laser, Eric. I lasered all that shit off. It's a smooth landing. Let me tell you something. It's so smooth. I have to touch it myself sometimes. It's smooth and silky, and sadly being wasted right now. No mileage has been put on in a while.
Well, thank you for that information.
I'll be keeping a poker face though, because even when I do, I'm gonna probably be still play. I like playing this like, oh, the woe is me, nothing's happening role. Like, people like to be happy about it. Like, yeah, she ain't got a man. If you think I can't get one, you're crazy. I just like certain people.
Nobody really thinks that. They just need something to say.
This thing's
here for it, because I'm gonna bring the champagne over.
Hey, Black people. Maybe we don't let the white people go to war. Let them be on the front lines. Let them come back with post-traumatic stress disorder. Let them get their legs blown off. Let them do all of that, because when you get back into the States, they treat veterans like shit anyways. Y'all want to stop Black people from going out for some hair bumps? You know what? You know how the 92%, that's a terrible picture. You know how that looks, what is going on?
I don't know what that, I don't know what that
it
is.
looks almost erotic.
Can
we see that again? What's happening there?
They're having a
conversation at the mouth. What's happening? Can we see the picture again?
They're having a conversation in the control booth right now. Like, it's a shaving picture.
No, I just feel like it was a funny picture. I mean, not like you guys did a bad job. It's funny, the post. Oh yeah, I'll try it. I'll put the safe one back up. I want to see the other one. Listen, You think all these entitled, spoiled, weak white men are enough people to fill up your armies, your military? Do you really think that? Do you think so? They walk around and march with tiki torches and masks on because they're cowards. That's who you want leading your military? These cowards, these bitch ass boys, these hoes, these weak men that are so triggered by everything. That's all you want in the military. That's it, right? The fake macho. That's what y'all want. Y'all want to kick black people out the military. What else would you like to kick us out of? What else would you like to kick us out of? It's unbelievable that a man that, you know, knows the things that are happening with our economy right now, that ran on lowering the price of eggs on day one, is wasting so much time with these culture wars and affecting and hurting people just for their ethnicity. You have a hard on for black men, Trump. You really do. It's giving obsessed. It's giving, how you doing? It's giving what's really good, because you are so obsessed with black men. You're obsessed with dick and black men. Like how you talked about the golfer Arnold Palmer and his penis, how you doing all this when you dance your little YMCA dance. The one speech you was doing this on the mic, like you was giving us a master class on sucking dick. Like that's what it was. It was like you was do. I've never seen a presidential candidate do this in my life. Like just doing this. I don't understand. Like you are obsessed with dick and black men and Mexicans. Is there something you like to get off your chest? It's okay, Donald Trump. It's 2025 now. It is okay. Like, live your truth. And this is not a dig at you. Actually, maybe you'd be happier if you could actually live your truth, because something's going on with you. The way you think about black men, I had a black man in a while, and you think about black men more than I do. And I think about them. You are obsessed. Dick and black men. Dick, black men, and Mexicans. What's good, Donald Trump? What's happening?
I don't know, but I'm watching this can take the form of a brick wall.
What happened? Oh,
you can.
Don't you think he's a bit obsessed with black men and dick?
You know, I think this is what you're bringing up is a very interesting phenomenon, because it's always perplexing to me, like where people's minds go and why. I mean, when we talk about trans issues, and it's like people who are so not affected have never met a trans person, and like why are we having this conversation? Why is that the
1% of the population, less than 1%.
On your mind? And it's like it's always something that's like a very small, it's either a minority group, so that in itself by definition means a smaller group of people, or it's something that like what happened during your day that this is what you're thinking about. It's very strange. It's very strange to me, but this happens all the time. And ultimately it's because there has to be a boogeyman. Like there always has to be a villain and a victor. So if you want to be the victor, then you have to say the opposite of me is the villain. And that's just how everything is pitted against each other these days. And I don't understand it, because I do agree. It does give obsessed. It's like people will be like, and then Target put the rainbows in the middle of the store. And it's like, I don't.
Can I talk to people? Can I talk to these folks, these snowflakes? Are you okay? Things that don't affect my everyday life, I hardly ever think about. Like corn dogs. I don't like them. I don't hate them. I just don't eat them. So I never think about corn dogs. So when I go to the Texas Fair every other year, I may see a corn dog and I'll go, oh, there's a corn dog. It doesn't infuriate me. Why do they have those here? They're so bad for you. I hate them. How could anyone want to put that in their mouth? That's the same way Donald Trump thinks about black people, black men, and dick. He's always worried about it. The Republican Party is obsessed with everything but their women's vaginas. The only thing they think about their women is for birthing units, birthing people. Like I just don't understand how y'all are sitting around thinking, what else can we do to affect, like hurt women, affect black men, and focus on dick? They care way too much. Y'all care about trans too much. Y'all care. It's very weird. Do you think our president is down low?
I don't know. Claudia, what you doing? Lord have mercy.
Do you think he could be?
Do you think it's serious? I think the sexuality is a spectrum. So who knows?
What part of the spectrum? Is he purple? Is he pink? Is he green?
Don't know. Is he yellow? I don't know. I do not know. I think that.
Okay, let's start here. I know I'm putting you on the spot. When's the last time? Do you think he had sex with Melania?
Oh, I definitely do not believe he has sex with Melania.
When do you think better yet, time?
I don't believe Melania has sex with him. That's more accurate. Like, she won't even let that man like kiss her or hug her. Like, whatever that agreement was, it's been expired and they're not even hiding it anymore.
At all. Edward Williams says Trump is definitely a bottom. Carol Martin says, but then they turn around in the same breath and be on Grindr or getting arrested for child abuse. Let's touch upon that real quick. During the Republican National Convention, the party of family values and morals and anti-gay, anti-trans, marriage, family values, one man, one woman, blah, 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 blah. Yo, y'all be crashing the Grindr app every single time when y'all have y'all's conventions. Don Lemon has said that he gets hit on the most at the Republican National Convention. They be all up in his DMs. They be trying to holler at him, staring at his husband, all up in their mouth. So I just feel like there's a lot of repressed sexuality on that side. And I feel like repressed people are angry people.
Yes, very much.
And if you would just let your inner rainbow out or whatever your kink is, not saying that being gay is a kink, but whatever it is that you feel that your attraction or who you really are, I think that's why the word gay means happy. Because they are releasing, they're not confined to what society wants them to be. They are who they want to be. They are free. And maybe if these Republicans, a lot of them, would just let go of the fake macho, fake tough act and be who they really are and love and who they really feel like they're attracted to, we'd have a lot less hate, because this is a very hateful party. It's giving hate.
I'm glad that you brought this up, because this is something that comes up in a lot of different conversations, especially when it comes up when we're talking about repression of sexuality, and not only sexuality in terms of if you identify as LGBTQIA+, but also repression in terms of the performance of sexuality, or the ability to freely express your sexual natures. Because I see this also with women who are very angry at women who are free about their sexuality. They're like a little less repressed, or sometimes they're just outright open, very sex positive. And I think it comes from a similar vein. There is a sense, especially because we come from a very puritanical society in this country, that in order to be just and good and respected, you have to be repressed in your sexuality. And there is a major disdain. And honestly, there's an anger for anyone who is doing that happily, openly, and successfully. So I think that any phobia, or anytime you're phobic, really comes from a deep rooted self-loathing. So I think what you're saying is completely spot on, and that's the part that people don't want to talk about. It's like, how dare you openly express that you are gay, when I did the just and moral thing by saying, no, I'm absolutely gonna pretend to be with this woman. Like, I'm absolutely going to pretend to be heterosexual and have children with this woman. And as a result, also not be 100% honest with her, because I did what was just and right. And now we're saying that's not just and right. And also, you act like that's a victimless thing. You're bringing other people into it, while you're also trying to underground live out your true identity, which we've all said, hey, you're welcome to do that out loud with everyone else. It's like, that's the thing. And so every time these phobias or phobics conversations happen, it's a weird conversation to have, and it's a weird debate, because only one side of it is speaking with honesty. So Yeah, that all being said.
Yeah, it's really sad because you refuse to be brave enough or have enough courage to admit who you really are and that you are same-sex attracted or whatever. You then not only just like not being honest with the people in your life and to yourself, which is the biggest crime, you then go an extra step and actively work to hurt those that were brave enough to do so themselves and feel proud about it and thinking that's a distraction, like you're throwing a I don't know, a firecracker over there. Like, look over there, distraction. Look over there, look over there. Look, they're so, they're so bad. But really, you're doing that to distract from who you really are. Mm-hmm. And I think that's got to be so sad because you really have more in common with the people you're hurting than not. And I made those jokes about Trump, but I'm sorry. I've never seen a straight 78-year-old man that has made so many weird comments about men's anatomy and penis, peni, dang langs, all these weird gestures. The men he picks around him that he feels I think he picks men in the positions that he thinks are sexy. Pete Hegseth, whatever. Like, you're just a Fox News host. Like, these are men that he thinks are macho, and I think he's attracted to that macho that he thinks, that he sees, because they're not qualified. These are the epitome of DEI. And I'm going to go and say that the DEI in this case stands for Dick earned it. Dick earned it. Dick earned it for them. Having a dick. Because that's all you care about. Dick earned it. DEI. Dick earned it for him in Trump's administration. Because all the people, it's men that you're hot and bothered over. You're men that you admire. Men that you think are strong. Like, even Putin had that dumbass calendar with pictures of him on a horse with his shirt off, and Trump is on his dick hard. You know, he loves that. I remember when I was in his box at the US Open one time, and Gerard Butler was there from the movie 300, and Trump was trying to like connect us and kind of hook us up, right? And he was like, "Oh, he's the best." And I was like, he was glazing like he was on his nutsack, and I was like, damn, he made me believe. I was like, okay, he was on, like, he admires men. I mean, he said I was great at stuff too, but the way he was talking about Gerard Butler was just like, it was like, yo, you are a fucking fanboy. And like, when he likes a guy, he likes a guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at the people he chose for his vice president, JD Vance, a guy that had all kinds of procedures to snatch that face back. What's that thing? Kybella on his chin because he had a double chin. Wears eyeliner. So not qualified. That's your vice president. Fox News hosts, people that you deem are the only person that you're probably not attracted to is what's his name? Steve Bannon, because he looks like a hobbit with all kind of infections and boils on his face. But like, it feels like he picks men that he thinks are hot. He likes Diddy too. I mean, and someone, Carol Martin said, Donald is also a serial cheater, which is common amongst DL men. I think that's my theory. And while we still have freedom of speech for the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna go ahead and use it. What you think, Erica? You joining me?
I think on that note,
you picking people are not qualified. And look at Mike Pence. Mike Pence was clearly
okay. First of all, we were concerned that we weren't going to have enough stories to talk about, and here we are running over. So, yes, like, let's. I think you gave the people something to think about. And come back next week because we're going to be here same time, same place, Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Central. The comment section is going off. While y'all are in the comments, go to our page, like, subscribe. We want to get our likes up on this video and all of our videos. Yeah, y'all, I'm just
Can I just say one thing? I know we got to go. If you think there's a lot of DL-ness in this administration, can you put eggplant in the chat and in the comments on YouTube? Put an eggplant, and on a scale of 1 to 5, like how gay you think he is or down low he is. 1 to 5.
Oh Lord. Okay.
But he's a cowardly one, so I don't respect him. I love the community, but I don't like a coward that just like and hurting other members of the community. So give us an eggplant rating from 1 to 3 or 1 to 5 and let us know. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
The views are the views of me. Please don't blame Erica or the Accidentally Informed podcast. I don't want them to get canceled like I probably will. So thank you for joining us. We had a fine time tonight, did we not?
We did. It's always a pleasure. I can't wait to see where you pop up this week.
No play this week. I have to go to Atlanta to do something real quick. I'm going to Tawana Braxton's wedding this weekend as well.
Oh, nice.
And I have to I got to tell you about this project that I'm working on.
Okay.
Oh, look at we're getting like a lot of peen ratings in the comments.
Oh
Look
my
at the peen
gosh.
ratings. What are you doing this week? You around this week?
This week I am going to try to catch up with my life, like laundry and stuff, because it's been a hot mess. I'm not as busy as you, but I'm getting close. So
I'm gonna sit down this weekend. Well, one day. But birthday trip coming soon. I hope you can make it. And this has been Accidentally Informed, where
we can't guarantee that you'll learn something, but Claudia will definitely say Peni
at least 3 times. Oh, look at the peens coming in. There's a whole bunch of them already.
God, we'll see y'all next week.
Put it on, girl. Let me see it. Put it on, girl. Let me see it.